arcade style. So he made this entire like wood pine. It looks like an arcade, like tabletop arcade thing, but it's just a super. I think it's a Super Nintendo or it's a Game Boy. It's actually a Game Boy that he like splice wired, so it has a joystick, whatever, and then you literally just take the small Game Boy games and just slide it right in the front, but you're playing it on like a huge screen. And he does it all the time. He like those old school, like it's a giant Pepsi can, and then you open it, there was like an FM radio in it or whatever. He took that out, put like a miniature TV in there, and then put like a Sega Genesis in it and stuff. It's super cool, but it's super British. But anyway, catch us back up. So UCF, go Knights. Let's kind of like catch us up there. Should we just rip it from the top? Rip it from the top. All right. Well, we're back in the vault, but I think we're gonna go with stay with on the mic. I think we discussed that the other day when we were in here with DJ. But sitting just to my left is our brand new sales director and coach who is going to be heading up our westward expansion, Chris Anuszewski. He has settled roots and built roots in Orlando. He's also going to be helping out with our South Florida division as honestly just a quality leader, right? Understand how agents operate, and we're always looking for more of those. But why don't you just catch us up, like, who you are, where you grew up, why real estate, et cetera, and just kind of like walk us into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Chris Anuszewski, last name's Polish. I'm not Polish. Little crazy thing.
Witness protection. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Born and raised in St. Pete, Florida, Tampa Bay area. Moved over to Orlando to go to UCF about 23 years ago.
Go Knights.
Charge on for any of my UCF alum out there. And just never left, man. Fell in love with the city.
Yeah.
Part of it is just the diverse culture. I'm a huge foodie, so that plays a role in it. We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, right. And then you got into a discussion with Wes, telling you about Houston. Yeah, just we don't have enough tape to get a podcast with Wes.
I'm actually going to hit up one of the restaurants he recommended here in St. Augustine later today. So
sweet.
Later tonight. For
awesome.
dinner,
Awesome.
But,
why real estate? You kind of fell into it. You studied it in school.
So did not study it in school.
Okay.
Actually went to UCF for computer engineering. Realized within the first year, not my cup of tea, man.
Okay.
Switched to like comp sci. Didn't really like that. Switched to computer animation. Not really an artist, more of a left brain thinker.
Right.
Even though it's kind of disproved. There's
sure.
right brain thing. But ended up with like web design. And video editing. So a little bit of what you guys do.
Yes, I would say still a massive future in that.
Yeah.
Still computers to a degree.
And I was working at Best Buy as a Geek Squad person. So I was driving around the nerdy bug.
Get out.
Going and like businesses and people's homes and helping them with their computers. And one of the guys I met, he ran a program that teaches babies how to survive when they fall in the water.
And obviously, just from there, made the natural transition to real estate. I mean, obviously, tale as old as time.
Exactly. But the short of it was that they needed someone in IT. They needed someone to develop a website. So I started just consulting, developing a website. And when I graduated UCF, he said, we need someone IT full time. Would you join us? I said, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And through that, I found my passion in operations. And I'd obviously done retail sales, but I was there for, a good 12, 13 years. And a good friend of mine in Orlando, she was running a real estate team, and she said, Chris, you're great with people.
Mm-hmm. You're
very organized. You have, you're not scared to talk to anyone. You should get your real estate license and like just dabble in it. I was like, okay, I was getting a little bored in my career, so I did that and I got my license and started kicking butt right away.
Right.
Became one of the top agents within the first few months and said, cool, quit my job.
Yeah.
Actually, took a backpacking trip to Asia for 6 weeks. So went to Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, did a little self-exploration.
That's exactly how realtors do it. They come in, they get about 3 to 10 sales.
And they're like,
vacation.
Yeah. I'm out. Great.
I'm out.
I was actually still running deals while I was out though. So it was awesome. And that was the benefit of team support, back then even. And I fell in love with it, completely changed careers. I magically within a year and a half found my way back into leadership and operations. I was in, by the way, the previous one, I'd found the operations. So I went from like an IT person to actually developing an operations role and leadership in that company. And so
Oh, man.
that helped me transition in real estate. And,
Right.
you know, the team lead said, I need someone to spearhead the launch of this crazy program that's coming from Zillow.
Right.
And I need someone to help spearhead the direction of the team. And so I took on a VP of operations role, and
Yeah.
then I've kind of been in the real estate industry since 2017, so
Yeah.
8 years now.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure, first of all, back to the Geek Squad, the amount of patience, if you didn't already have it, that you probably had to develop was probably
I've got
insane.
some patience, and I've got some pretty interesting stories because obviously, as you know, the things people keep on their computers.
Yeah, and the reason why they stopped functioning too.
And actually, back in those days, so that was like 2002 to 2006. So it was like internet and what was it, all the pop-ups everywhere and all the things, you know, and then
I think AOL and AIM was probably like just on its way out the door too.
Yeah.
I was listening to
Netflix was still the DVDs, man. You still had to get the DVDs delivered to you. You know, you could get the 1 disc or the 3 disc membership.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, dude. Yeah, big time. I was listening to another podcast talking. He's basically like a hacker, glorified hacker, but he actually now runs all of Amazon's security.
Okay.
It was a guy on the Sean Ryan show, but he was talking about that day and that kind of time period about how that's actually where like affiliate marketing and all this like online marketing started was in that kind of time period, AOL and whatever, and it was honestly it was crashing.
Net zero, remember?
Well, it was crashing people's computers was the first thing, and what they did was they figured out, well, if we can crash people's computer and then we know how to just we can charge for it.
Mm-hmm.
So they were doing it physically at first, right? Like you go in, Geek Squad, somebody comes in, and then they obviously figured out how they can plant malware and then just remove malware. And that is literally how like online marketing and affiliate marketing was. If you can, because we have the program that you would, the face of it buy, if you just went out, crashed somebody's computer, and then got them to sign up for it.
I've got the fix for you right here.
Yeah, that's what it was, and it was just like that, and that was kind of like that pioneering edge. So I always, and again, growing up in that era too, is just like I always just remember that. I'm like, makes so much sense. Like especially like LimeWire, downloading illegal music, like all that.
Bear share, all the things.
That's what I mean.
All the bloatware, man.
So good, so good. So back into real estate. We digress, but when you kind of started over there on that team, what were some things that you early on started to identify in like agent behavior that you're like, I can easily correct this and I'm actually very good at it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like, it goes back to one of the things I've said. It's one of my soapbox speeches. It's kind of twofold. One is that the biggest thing that I see that agents miss out on is that they don't treat their business like a business. Like they're so used to the 9 to 5 mentality. Like I'm told where to go. I check in, I check out at this time. This is the project needs to be worked on. These are the emails I need to answer, right? And like they don't have to worry about anything outside of that. But it's like when you shift over into real estate or any other type of entrepreneurship, it's like, okay, well, you're the GM, you're the front desk person, you're the back end person, you're the financier. Like you're the person that needs to understand like how many of these things do I need to sell? What's my net takeaway? What's my net profit? What are these things? And so what goes along with that is also it's like you can kind of just get away in a lot of 9 to 5s of just going and being like a zombie and just like working through. Cool, 8 hours are done. Check out. Peace. Right.
Yeah.
Like see you tomorrow. Right. Or see you on Monday. With real estate, it doesn't really work like that. Like you get out what you put into it. Yeah. So like if you're coming in and making 5 calls in a day, well, you're probably not going to make very much money, right? But if you're coming in hustling and treating it like, okay, I've got this formula that I'm going to follow and I'm going to like as boring as it gets. Yeah, I'm going to do it because I know the end product is going to be helping more people and making more money. Yeah. That's where I see a lot of it. So for me, I'm a very regimented person. I'm very organized. So it's like, all right, cool. Well, I'm just going to come in here and like do this. And so
repetition.
Right. And like when I started, I was working my 9 to 5 and I was doing what a lot of agents we know in the industry. It's like, cool, I'm in the transition. Like I don't have the money to just like float myself for 6 months without a pay stub or paycheck or whatever. So it's like, I've got to continue to work both. But it was like, for me, it was like, cool, clock out of this job, I'm clocking out of here, I'm dialing at nighttime, I'm dialing on the weekends, I'm working multiple open houses every weekend, everybody's going to the beach and having a great time. Like, I can't join you.
Sweating
like,
it
I'm
out,
dedicated to this thing, right?
Yeah,
And,
big time.
But that's what led me in my case, to be successful in those first few months.
Yeah, and a lot of people, we always draw conclusions to like that, and people who work out, athletes, it's just like this level of discipline where, you know, you just like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to go to the gym, but like there is a different type of person to where like you look and you're like, man, like why don't I get that results? It's because they do it on the days where you're like, oh, I can't do it. They figure it out.
Those days. Yeah.
They have those days, but they overcome them by just like you need to do it.
I'm a huge soccer nut, or proper football.
Football.
Like Cristiano Ronaldo, if you guys like, it's like everybody hates on him. It's like he's the pretty boy, but it's like, dude, like if you look at multiple accounts of him, it's like, oh, I got there and I was the first player in the thing, and then I heard some noise and I went down and it was like, oh, the training staff told me he's already been here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, which is already 4 hours before the training starts, and then he's also doing another sesh like in the evening, and it's like, he wasn't naturally gifted. Like he just outworked everybody.
And you almost see that like like especially in professional athletes, right? Like somebody like a Derek Jeter, who is of course gifted, right? And on the chance that you are 6'3" or 6'4", right? You know, that you have speed, you have those things, but still outworking somebody. And Michael Jordan is a prime example of that as well. He's like, and you know, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant was also the same way. It's like, those guys had the given ability to them, right? The height, speed, whatever, size, etc. But they still didn't like coast on that. Yeah. They were just like, no matter what, even on my worst day, I'm going to still be better than everybody else. And I think that's like the undisputed, I don't know, like the dark side of like being successful that no one really sees.
Yeah. It's the boring stuff. Yeah. It's the repetitive stuff, right? Like,
but it just doesn't, like people try to talk about it, and I don't know if they even ever really land when they talk about it. They're just like, oh yeah, like, you know, there was a story that I think it was called the Olympic basketball team. They were training in Las Vegas. I forget what they had like a trendy name or whatever. You know, like the Sweet 16, you know, something. It was something like that, and a group of guys, most of the starters, were coming back from like the casino. They were all training in Las Vegas. They were coming back from the casino, and the elevator opens. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning or something. And inside the elevator is Kobe Bryant, dressed, going to go train, going to the gym, whatever. And they're coming back from the casino, and they rode the elevator. Like he's coming off, they're coming on, and Kobe rode the elevator back up with them. They all changed and then all came back down and then went to go work out, because they almost felt like this pressure of like, damn, like this dude is going to totally out and overwork us.
Yeah.
And I think it's contagious. And we always say that all the time. Like when you're surrounded by people like that, it does become contagious. Again, you will always find like some people just aren't cut out for it. But I think Nick Saban said it the best too. He was talking about, he's like, winners love other winners. Winners hate other losers, because it just drags them down, and it just makes their hard work go completely almost unnoticed. And then there's another type of winner that likes to be around losers, because they don't have to work as hard and they still look like they're the top. Almost like big fish in a little pond.
Yeah, you know, it's about, you know, it's like that whole adage of like, you are the culmination of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? And so it's like, you know, are you surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like, or are you surrounding yourself with people that are below your level? And not to say that you need to be like, oh, well, you're below me, but just be mindful of like, okay, like,
is this person helping me get where I need to go?
Yeah. Are they feeding me the energy that I need to like get to my next level? And in turn, also, am I doing the same, right? Like, am I giving that person the same energy, because I want to come up together.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see my friends and my colleagues. Like, I want to see them like kick ass and like hit the level that they want to hit, and actually supersede that level.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll get some of that like return, right? And like maybe I'll go along with them, or like they're gonna do the same, right? It's the same reason you have a gym buddy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Accountability buddy.
It's like, hey, dude, like, oh, I'm not feeling it. Dude, come on, like, get your ass up. Let's go. Like, let's hit it. And you know, in your head, you know, like if I go do this thing.
Yeah. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to be better. Yeah.
It's why I work out in the morning, because it's like, I know I'm going to be energized the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I know I got it done.
That's the big thing. I had a school teacher who then we became very good friends, because he was my head lifeguard, you know, a lifetime ago. And I always, of course, you know, you're 18, 19, 20 years old. You're like not getting up at 5, 6 in the morning. This guy's married, kids, the whole 9 yards. And that's his main thing. He's like, I need to do it. And if I come to work all day, I have whatever problems or whatever's going to happen all day, and then I get done and I'm like, I still need to go to the gym. But he's like, if it's the first thing I do and it's always the first thing I do, I know exactly how the morning's going to start every single morning.
Yep.
And he goes, it does two things for me. It allows me to literally at the end of the day be completely exhausted and not give a flying what happens.
Yep.
And he goes, two, it calms my anxiety because I know when I put my head down to sleep, I know exactly how the day is going to start. And I know that at the end of the day, no matter what happens, I'll have gotten that done. And that's, to him, is the most important part, most important thing to him was being healthy. And, he'd like to train, former bodybuilder, et cetera. But you mentioned you're like, you're the product of the 5 people that you spend the most time with or surround yourself with. So let's talk about like companies that you've been with. You don't have to mention them, but did you kind of always have that principle instilled, or were you not aware of that? You're like, oh, this place actually isn't letting me kind of like grow or spread my wings. I need to move, or were your moves strategic and different and placed differently?
I think each was its own unique case, right? Like, when I moved into the real estate industry out of the prior industry, I kind of reached the peak, and like I was in a great place. I was making great money, and I worked from home, and it was awesome, but I just wasn't being challenged. And like, I'm a person that like, I just like to be challenged. Whenever if I take on a hobby, I want to know like everything there is. Like,
no
if I was
doubt.
going to take on surfing, it's like I want to know what's the best board, like what's the best technique, like what's the best wax to use. Like,
you're like obsessive in nature, kind of.
Yeah. A little bit obsessive, a little bit OCD, And so, what is it? What's that thing? Like, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? It's like, it's like, okay, if I like half-ass this thing, it's like, what's the point? Why do I even invest my time? So anyway, wasn't being challenged. So for that, it was like, okay, I need to find something that's going to challenge me and like get me like just re-energized again, right? And then, in other teams that I've been with, there's been one where I left, and when I left, it was like, you're kind of in it. You're so in it. And then when you get out of it, you go, oh, like that really wasn't a great space for me to be in.
It's crazy.
And like, I was in it for so long. And did I get benefits from being there? Absolutely. Did I like learn and grow and whatnot? But also it's that learning afterwards of like, wow, you kind of don't really, you get, you get comfortable with your environment and where you are. And like,
they say the same thing about like toxic relationships. You like can't see it, and then all of a sudden you remove yourself. Like, yo.
Yeah, I've been there. I've definitely been there. But and later, obviously, you go look back at those times and you go, wow, there were so many red flags, but I just like made an excuse for myself, or I gave myself a reason why. If I move out of this, it's going to be so hard. Or like I've invested so much into X, whatever it is, a relationship, a team, a place of work, right? And so I guess for me, to kind of answer your question, it's like, I like learned those lessons along the way of like, all right, sometimes you have to really step outside yourself and reassess of like, is where I'm at holding me back from my true potential?
Right.
Is the place where I'm at, are the people that I'm surrounded by, like, are they going to get me to that level? Like, what do I want to be in a year from now, 3, 5 years from now? Am I making progress towards that, or am I just kind of like floating by, just going? Because unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people are just so comfortable with just being comfortable. It's like, I'd like to make, $200,000 a year, but if I only make 100 or I only make 90 or whatever, like I can still pay my bills and I'm fine, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why can't you like reach that? Like, what's holding you back? But nobody really sits down and asks, or they do. They just come up with a reason.
They just come up with the excuse on why they didn't, not identifying the reason why they didn't.
Yeah,
right?
And change is scary, right? People do not like change in general. It's very scary. You have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You have to challenge yourself, right? And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do.
You kind of have seen a few different models and how they operate.
Yeah.
What do you think is one of the primary reasons why agents can't actually scale their business just operating at the normal traditional, like what's the first thing that is usually a hurdle that not many agents can kind of get over? That's like, okay, well, if they can't really conquer this, there's like 7 other problems in order to scale that you're really not going to be able to come close to because you really can't even figure this out. You think you have an identified point on that?
I would say, and it's not going to be anything groundbreaking, but the number one thing I think that prevents like agents from doing more business or like hitting the goals that they want to hit is not putting themselves in a position to talk to more people. And what I mean by that is like, you know, in any industry, it's like, how do you make sales? Well, you have to have like business opportunities to make sales. Well, how do you get business opportunities? Well, you have to put yourself in front of those people that are going to give you real business opportunities.
Many as possible.
You know, and so unfortunately, it's not the glamorous side of real estate. It's like, how do you meet people where they are to get those business opportunities? Well, like you have to go where home buyers are, home sellers are, which means you have to have conversations, you have to talk to people. And like, that's the number one blockade is like agents are scared to get on the phone. What if they ask me a question that I don't know the answer to? What if I don't know this particular community that well?
Sure.
You know, what if they ask me about commissions? Like all these things like get in their head as a mental block rather than just going like, I'm just calling somebody and having a conversation.
Straight
like,
up.
how can I help them? Right. And maybe I don't have the answer, but like if you're in the right space, it's like, well, I know I have a team behind me that I can go ask, hey, you know what? Let me get back to you on that one. And pivot. And then I'm going to go get the damn answer from my teammate, my team leader, whatever, right? Like hopefully you're in a space that allows you for that. But that's probably the biggest thing is just not being so scared that they prevent themselves from getting in a place where they can have these opportunities.
Yeah.
Like present themselves.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt.
It's like, okay, either you're not making enough phone calls, you're not going out there, you're not putting yourself out, either a fear, mental block in your head. Could be laziness, right? Could just be like, I don't want to make, 50 phone calls today.
More often than not, but
right. Yeah. I don't, it's raining outside. I don't want to go to the gym. It's like, I want abs, but I don't want to monitor my food intake, right?
That's what it is. I'll just not eat dinner for like this whole week. And I'm like, that'll
you
work.
go through these fad swings and these fad diets. But it's like, that's my big thing is like, to answer your question, it's not putting yourself in that space, and it's usually either, like I said, maybe laziness, but a lot of it, from what I've seen in my experience, has been mental block, and it's like your own mental. It's not like, oh, if I call them, I'm bothering them, right? And it's like, well, they entered their information on our website, they reached out, like they've said they needed some help, like. Why wouldn't you be the person that wants to give them that help? Like,
exactly.
Look at it from a customer service perspective, not a sales perspective. And I think that's where so many agents like.
No, I think you nailed it actually, because we say it all the time. I'm like, if someone's asking you a question, it's really for one of two reasons. They either know the answer and they want to hear your answer, or they don't know the answer. And more often than not, they just don't know the answer. That's why they're asking you the question.
That's why they're reaching out.
Right? Like no one is like, unless you're crazy, you're tired, bored, you're like, I'm trying to waste this agent's time, like I do with like spam callers, right? Yeah. Or just like you drag them on and on. But I like 80 to 90% of the time, someone's asking you a question because they don't know the answer. So the fact that you don't know the answer is not the worst thing ever, because you're gonna find the answer.
Yeah.
They won't. That's why they need your help. Yep. And I think people get so scared. And I think you kind of nailed it too. It's a contact sport. We say it all the time. Tom Ferry says it all the time. Real estate is a contact sport, and it's the amount of people you can talk to. And it's so funny because recently, I don't know if Broke Agent Media, BAM Media, I don't know if you follow them on Instagram a lot, but Byron Lazine is on this big kick that like this industry is so obsessed with like splits.
Yep.
And instead of like, dude, you could have the best splits ever and not talk to a single person, does you jack anything.
Yeah.
He's like, if you could have the worst split possible and talk to as many people, that agent's going to get rich.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that. They just see like, okay, I'll be able to keep 100% of my commission, but I have whatever the monthly fee is or whatever all these other fees are. But if there's a $0 intake of the 100%, you're still operating in the negative.
100% of nothing is nothing.
Yeah, right? and I have not met many realtors who love to operate a nonprofit.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and I would say to add on to that, that's I get a lot of like friends that have kids that are graduating college, or maybe they graduate high school and they're not ready to go to college yet, and they're like, do you mind having like a call with them, almost like a mentorship call, right? It's like, they're thinking about doing real estate, right? And so the number one thing I actually talked about is what will make or break your career is where you decide to hang your license, right? Like, are you hanging it at a brokerage, at a place that says, we're going to give you the highest split, we're going to give you this? Well, like, if you got to think, right? It's like fee for service, fee for support, right? Like, you get what you pay for. If you're paying very little into that team or brokerage, they're going to give you very little or nothing in return, right? It's just like, cool, you get to hang your license there. And there's plenty of online 100%. We're like, yeah, cool. You
and
get 100%.
It works for some people. Works
you pay a
great.
transaction fee, right? If you've been in the business 30 years and you've got this amazing system and you've already got that worked into your business plan, cool, awesome, more power to you. But if you're like just starting or like you've only been in it a few years, you need a lot of support. You need someone you can call to give you mentorship. Like, I've got this tough deal. How would you handle this? Like, you're never going to believe what showed up on this inspection report, right? Like, those type of things where you're like, oh God, like, who do I call? Because like the brokers, I don't even know them. They live, you know, whatever, right? And so it's like the number one thing I always advise these people when I talk to them is like, dude, you have to find like the right team. One, do you jive with them? Are they giving you what you need? Which is like how to talk to clients, like especially if you're just starting out. It's like you're gonna need to know how to talk to clients, like, you know, how to find the right information. Do they have systems that are going to support you? Because there's a lot that goes on in our industry that, like, if you don't have a system, like, it's a lot of manual work and you're going to spend a lot of time trying to find something that could have taken you 30 seconds to a minute with the right system, or could take you 30 minutes to an hour.
Right.
And all of that is non-income producing activity, what we call it, right? You're just doing the paperwork and doing those things. And so I'm just like, don't get caught up in looking at how much split am I giving up, right?
Right.
And I joined a team and they gave me what I needed, and I feel like in the first year I gained as much information and experience as someone that maybe is as a typical agent has been in the industry for 5 years. And the reason is because, like, anytime I had a question, I could be like, hey, has anyone run into this in the group chat? And this was like, oh, I've got it. Yo, I just had one of those 6 months. I just had one of those a year ago. Like, give me a call. Let me tell you what not to do, what I would recommend.
Fantastic.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's like invaluable. So when people are like, oh,
because you also work super hard to even acquire that customer,
dude.
And then losing it there, and like it could be the simplest thing too.
Oh yeah, it could be exactly, and you don't know because you don't have the experience, right? But it's just like, I'm like, I look at it like an investment, like I don't know any business where you can invest $0 and like grow it, and like you're gonna, whether it's a software that you need, marketing, whatever it is, mentorship. It's like you're gonna pay, or you're gonna pay on the back end where it's like you're just not gonna make any damn money.
Yeah, I think the .com boom was probably the only place where you could have bought domains at like 1 to 3 cents and then have made zillion dollars. Or if you bought Bitcoin in 2009, 2010 would have been another thing, right?
Even still, though, you're investing money. It might have been very little money, but you're still investing money, But it's like, how many people hit that once in a lifetime lightning bolt?
There's a viral meme. It's like a trending audio going around. I don't know if you heard it, and it's just like people are just laying it over like brain rot videos, and it's these people just like asking ChatGPT how they become wealthy with no money in, very little risk. It's like the holy grail of anything. And it's just really funny because I feel like it's such common knowledge. People are like, yeah, dude, like, of course, like you just, there's nothing in this world where it costs no money, no time, no effort, no anything. And like it just falls in your lap, right? The lottery, and even still you're investing money.
Yeah.
But somehow we default to this, like, real estate is that frontier where I can do very little or whatever, and I can make my own hours.
Own schedule, man.
Make my own hours. I make, I decide how much I make, and I'm like, kind of, right? Like, so if we were to weigh the two, like, I control how much I make. Okay, well, someone who has actually been out there in the world, what are some of the limitations of where you can meet a customer who then is going to transact? That is how you limit or not limit your income, right? Like, because you're in real estate and you can literally decide how much you're going to make, it still relies on customers, which goes back to what you're saying. If you're not meeting or talking to enough customers, you're not, that's it. You're just because you're not in real estate, it's just like this doesn't happen.
Yeah, and like, things happen, right? There's so many variables outside of your control. Maybe you're doing a great job talking to customers. Maybe you are putting some people under contract. You're gonna have a bad inspection. You're gonna have a buyer that like didn't tell you they had a bankruptcy, or outstanding debt or whatever, right? And it's like, oh, all of a sudden you can't buy this house, and it's like, dude, I was like counting on that, it's like those sort of things that you can't. But it's like, as long as you're in the game and you're talking to more people and getting more opportunities, it's like there's going to be business opportunities that fall through. But if that's your one, and you're banking on it, it's like, dude, it's like why they tell you, don't count your chickens, right?
Right,
like,
exactly. So when obviously you're outside, you're coming around, you're looking, you're working business, you're coaching agents. What kind of attracted like you to us? Like, kind of what were you like? I wonder what's going on over there. Like, at what point was kind of there a light bulb, or you've always been on? Like, I know you and DJ do have a little bit of a history, but at what point were you kind of like, I want to kind of learn more what's going on over there?
Yeah, so I'd followed DJ&Lindsey for a long time. Like, we had a history. We used to mastermind together, years ago when running a similar program, with Zillow back in the day, and so I'd always been a fan and like friends, and followed them on the socials and just seen them grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, they really are like building something amazing over there. Would be awesome to work together one day, whatever. But I was kind of doing my thing, and I recently was like, found myself in a place where I'm like, I need to make a shift. I need to make a change. I said, let me reach out to DJ. I was like, he's got tons of connections. Maybe he's got something open, right? If not, maybe he knows somebody. And reached out and
Contact sport.
Yeah. Just said, hey, dude, and he was like, so crazy. I was literally like thinking about you the other day and was going to reach out, and so just serendipity, right?
Yeah.
And we connected, and he has a need to like expand down in the Central Florida area, and I was like, well, I have a need to like shift where I'm at, and I would love to help you with this and also learn from you and see. And we were actually chatting yesterday, and he was like, so since you've been here, would you say things are what you expected, below where you expected, above where you expected? I was like, hands down above. And it's not like, I'm not just like, yeah man, your team is awesome. Like, new boss, like, your team, no, it was like, dude, it's like a lot of times, I think this is the same in any industry, but especially in real estate, there's a perception of what's going on and then really what's going on behind the scenes. And so I came in and I was like, all right, like, I know they're going to be organized and they've got their act together and they've got these things. And then I came down, I was like, it's like you had mentioned like earlier in this convo, it's like every little thing, or we were talking about Disney, right? And like how like Disney's got like, this whole experience, and they think about the deal, even like the stupid thing about like how you can't point one finger, right? You gotta have the multiple
two finger point.
So it's rude, whatever, right?
Right.
It's like going into that level of detail. Like, I feel like that's what you guys have done here. It's like, okay, cool. We have this system. It's really good. It's better than what anybody else is doing. But like, how can we make it like 1% better? And then like, a month down the road, cool, we've been doing this. Like, and so everything from like how you support the agents, how you try to take off like the burden of like the paperwork, getting them unscared of like what to say, because you've got a whole script planned out of like, hey, here's how you introduce yourself. And like, it's not a sales pitch. It's just like, here's how I'm going to help you achieve your real estate goals. It's just all these little things, right? And it's, it exceeded.
So it's been a year or better since the NAR settlement, right? So with the showing agreements, buyer broker agreements, all that stuff. So when it came time to like, okay, this could be a problem that we need to solve for agents, right? We developed our own software, but it wasn't just that. It was the detail of, so when we first rolled out the software, it was just showing agreements, right? It was this like long, like, all right, you got to go show 5 houses, but you need this agreement. Like, are you going to go into dot loop and this, that, and the other? So we developed a software super quick, boom, 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 send it over. Okay, it was great. But the BBA side, we kept as a formal agreement in dot loop, whatever. And it was like, I don't want to just say it was complete chaos, but like, it was like complete chaos where you could see that if you didn't give organization, there was no organization, because there was no need for organization, because like you're talking about, you're running your own business. There were people who were doing it this way. There was somebody doing it the other way. Both were organized.
Slice it, right?
Neither of them were right, accurate, or even like recallable, right? Like where you're like, hey, when you submit this, make sure you submit your BBA. I thought it was in my loop, but but then it was on my desktop. This one I printed out. I'm like, dude, it's chaos.
Yeah.
It's complete chaos. And you don't really, I think the one thing that DJ and Lindsey do so well just as people is try as hard as possible to identify a problem before it happens with as little data as possible.
Yeah.
Right. So running and operating off very little data, right? There was no audit yet. There was no lawsuit. There was no problem yet, but like we could literally just see like in the repetition of chaos that we're like, this needs to get solved or else it's only going to perpetuate further bad habits. It was not a mess, but it was just, like I said, it was just disorganized chaos. And I think that's the one thing that they just have, and it perpetuates all the things. So back quickly too, because you came in, you've been going through the new training platform.
Yeah.
Everyone has described the training here as like drinking from a fire hose.
It's a little bit.
Yeah. But did you find that going through it was super navigable and understanding to where you're kind of picking up breadcrumbs, and then if you needed to go back, it was very accessible to go back because of kind of this drinking from a fire hose situation?
Yeah. The two things that stood out to me that come to mind are, one is that you have a set onboarding, like, okay, here's lesson 1 or unit 1, lesson 1,
right.
Unit 1, lesson 2, and it's progressed in a way that's easy for someone to follow. It's a lot of information, so that's where I think the drinking from a fire hose comes from. It's a lot, but I mean, hell, especially if you're new, like you're learning something new, and even if you're experienced, you're joining a new team, so you got to learn how this team does it.
Yeah,
where you just came from might have not had any of
that.
They might not have had it. They're like, cool, figure out how to do your own BBA, and what you need to do. Right? I was actually just talking to a friend of mine who's an agent now, and she's at a brokerage, and it's like they're a property management brokerage, so they really don't, like, if they do transactions, they're just dabbling. And she's like, yeah, like my broker didn't even really know, how to handle this thing. And so, but going back to this, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of information, but it is very organized. That was one of the pieces I noticed. The second thing that I noticed is that like you have built it to where like you guys use this thing called squad links.
Yeah.
Right? And so for those that don't know, it's basically like one bank of like, these are all the important links that you need to have at your ready. And so like, if you want to go back here to these lessons, click that, it'll bring you back here. And you're like, what was this, script again? Or like, what was that? Movement's right there, right? Like, where do I go to submit the showing agreement? Like, how do I do that? Or like, oh, I've got a new listing. Like, where do I go to like, get a listing book sent over here? It's like, oh yeah, you just click on squad links and like literally all the important stuff is right there in one spot. And like, that's a big thing I've noticed that is different from a lot of teams. Is a lot of teams don't have their, like, they might have systems, right? Many of them don't, but they might have systems. But then it's like, hey, where was it that I go again to like do this thing for this thing? And I've got and you got to think like, in real estate, it's like time is money, and you want to create a great experience for your customer. And so it's like, you want to be able to go and do it and not be frazzled every time.
You're
and
right.
like so many agents get so frazzled, especially if they're newer. They're
so
like,
frazzled.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I got this person and I'm going to take them on a showing. And it's like, well, okay, you got to get a showing agreement in front of them. You got to get it signed. You can't walk through that door.
Yeah. Don't pop the lockbox before. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you don't want to be hit on a violation. It's like, boom, fine. You could be up for reprimandation.
Yeah.
All these things. And it's like all that goes through an agent's head. And one hand, you have this exciting thing of like a business opportunity. The other thing, you're like, oh, there's all this other obligation that comes with it.
Right.
So it's like, how can you simplify and make that process as smooth as possible? And I feel like something as simple as like the link system that you guys use, and then the training, it's like those two things right there alone are worth their weight in gold, because it's like you're getting someone off on the right start, and they know I'm drinking from a fire hose, but all I got to do is go click that link which, by the way, you guys install on their web browser, like right from day one. So it's like, you don't even have to go somewhere and like save it. It's the onboarding, like
we give you all the bookmarks you need.
Yeah. It's already there. And it sounds dumb and it sounds simple, but it's like, trust me, I've been in a bunch of orgs. Like, they don't do any of that. No.
What do you think, aside obviously from, just the minutia we call it and the details, what's the most exciting what are you most excited about, I think, about being here? Like that, what's kind of like really, you're like, dude, this is not only is all that important, but the thing I'm most excited about is,
I would say it goes back to what we literally were talking about a little bit ago. Is like, who are you surrounding yourself by?
right.
It's like, I come in here, first and foremost, it's like, I have not been here yet, and DJ's car wasn't already here. Like, he's the first one into the office. Like, he's an owner who's present, and like he's like, in it, right? And it's totally accessible, walking around, checking on everybody, right? So like, just the fact that you have a leader that's like, hey, I'm here and I'm invested in my business. Like, I can't. It's like that mentality of like, I can't tell you what to do and then not do it. Like, I need to demonstrate, right? And then the other piece is that like all of the agents are in here, right? Like, they're in here, they're dialing. Yes, you have like, okay, 9 to 11 is prospecting time, but it's not like, okay, all of a sudden it's 11:01 and everybody pieces out and like, great, have a nice day, put in my 2 hours and I'm out.
Yeah.
No, it's like, cool. If they have showings, they go out, but like agents are coming back. They're here. It's a busy house. Right? It's a busy place. And that's what I'm most excited about, because being around people that want to win and are willing to put in the work to win and boost each other up and shout each other out, and like, even just the recognition has been very cool of not of me, but of like the agents that are winning. It's like, boom, here's the 10 people that put properties under contract yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? And we're talking yesterday, right?
Just yesterday.
Right. There's teams that are like, we had 10 contracts in the last month or week, right? Like, here it's like, cool, we do, shout out this guy. He's got, 19 properties under contract at this moment. It's like, what? Like,
yeah, which is a massive shock to a lot of people. I think people think we're so much bigger than we are because of our marketing presence and the amount of homes we sell.
Yeah.
But in reality, we're not like a huge, I think at one point I was reached out to by somebody looking to sell marketing, Cox Media Group, somebody like that, not sponsored. But they were just like, like, how many hundreds of agents, like all your agents is that? I'm like, we are like hovering around like 100 right now, because we're trying to like figure out how we can get to 500 to where it doesn't become chaos again.
Yeah.
Right. And we were, first started with the training platform, right? Then it starts with squad links, and it starts with all these things that you have to iron out to make sure that they're so ironclad. And we've identified two. We identify like, okay, this is something that you can't solve with a video. You can't solve with a training platform. This has to be solved in person. And those are things that are done in training classes that we do collaboratively, back and forth, this and that. But we're not huge. I mean, our goal is to grow, right? We're always looking to take on agents. But I think the one thing that we've identified too is that, and I'm sure you see it, is we're not for everybody, solely on the premise of it's a lot of fun, but there's also work involved, right? Like, we see so many people on Instagram, social media, whatever, what have you. They're just like in model homes at builders all day, and they're like just like having free snacks. And I'm like, none of those people are customers. Yeah. You guys are all realtors. Like, how do you guys make money? Yeah. And we look at stats through the MLS, and we have obviously, third-party software where you kind of see like just general GCI, and you're like, that's GCI. I'm even just going to close my eyes and pretend you're at 100% commission brokerage. Let's pretend you took all of that home. That's still not taxed. That's still not any money you had to spend doing anything. And somehow people find themselves like, this is the best way to do it. And then they look and they're like, well, that's how DJ&Lindsey do it. And like, it's not like that at all here. It's like totally different. People come in, and it's always kind of occurred to me, but we were doing these kind of like agent spots and just getting some like agent feedback testimonial. And the one agent just goes, it's kind of just a totally different job. Yeah. Like, for us to like a normal real estate agent, it's like, it's basically like a totally different job. Like, we're salesmen who just happen to sell homes where it looks totally different. He's like, when I moved here, all of my entire sphere was all agents. They do absolutely nothing of what I do. And it's not like a bad thing. It's just like, they have to do things like that to find business, where he's like, I don't have to do that. So I wind up doing literally other things, like fully different. Like, my daily approach is different. Yeah. The way I approach conversations is different. Like, he's like, my calendar doesn't have like inspection review, blockage on there, contract review blockage. Like, there's none of that. He's like, I write a contract. most of it is pre-filled. I put in the details. He goes, and then I submit it, and then my TC handles all the other stuff. He goes, so my relationship with my buyers or my sellers is kind of totally different than that of theirs, because we don't talk about the weeds. He's like, they talk about the weeds with, my TC, who knows every detail of it.
Yep.
He's like, I'm focused on just making sure they're comfortable. They understand where we're going next. Hey, here's what happens now. He's like, I just become so much more of their advisor, and it allows me to do more, which then perpetuates into, there's 100 agents selling literally, almost 12, 13, potentially 1,500 homes. And it's just like, it just makes sense, it doesn't add up.
To your point, it's like exactly what you just kind of ended there on, which is they're selling homes. Their time is focused on selling homes and not on all of the stuff that goes along with it. It's like, you have this like catch-22 of like, awesome, I just put a property under contract. I just secured this listing.
Sure.
Should celebrate, right? It's amazing, right?
Awesome.
Absolutely. Celebrate that, right? But then you go, now I've got to put it in the MLS, and I've got to upload it to brokerage compliance, and I've got to do all of these, I've got to order a sign, and I've got to go do this and take photos, and I got to get it up on Zillow, and you got to do all these things, right? And it's like, okay, like that's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of admin work that it's like, okay, the more you're spending on that, it's like the less you're spending on like making a great experience for your client, reaching out to more people like we're talking about. It's like making more business opportunities, making more contacts, and it's like, the more that you can offload that stuff off of the agents, right, which is what you guys have done here, the more that they can spend on those building those relationships. And to your point about that agent of like, my day looks a lot different than it does over here or all the people that I know.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it's something too that we try to just like, I don't know, tell that story like it, but it's so hard because like you're saying, like you have this perception of how things are plus noise, anything else, whatever. Oh, here's why this is so bad, whatever. And I mean, we've said we hire agents all the time who are like, I honestly, the reason I wasn't here is just because the things I heard and I just assumed, right? I assumed this. And then they come here and they're like, none of that's even close to being true. And then two, I actually, like the one agent specifically I'm citing, she was like, I'm going to reach my entire annual goal in 3 months here. So she's like, I had set these goals and these were, again, I'm like accomplishing them, but like, I'm kind of like, well, now what? Right? Like she's like, I need to like readjust my goals because I thought something was going to be so much harder to achieve and it just isn't. And it was because I was told that, hey, if you could do this, this is really good. She's like, it is good. Like if you compare it to out there, she's like, it is good. The problem is it like was not hard for me to reach that goal here. And she's like, it made me have to completely readjust and change my lens on the entire industry because of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the common like the goal that we get, right? Everybody wants to make $100,000 or like I want to close 2 deals a month, so 24 deals, right? It's like I walked in here, it's like, oh yeah, we've got a 19-year-old kid here who's closed over 20 homes in the first 7 months of this year, right? And it's like,
that's
wait,
crazy.
what?
Yeah,
like and you might go to other places. Oh, you don't really have the experience, you can't really do that, or like it's like, wait, to your point, it's like, well, I was trying to close 24 in the whole year. Like, oh my God, you got a kid, no offense to him, but like 19, like what? He's going to close 30, 40 homes this year, double what I thought was even possible as an experienced person. Right. So it's just a totally different vibe and a totally different way of doing things. And, even something as simple as like, there's a dress code here, right? It's like, there's not usually a dress code at a real estate agency. You think there would be, but there's not. So it actually kind of likens itself to like, hey, you got to go check into that 9 to 5, that corporate job. It's like everybody says they want accountability until they actually get accountability. But it's like here, it's like, hey, we're gonna give you accountability, whether it's like how you dress.
What you say, how you do it.
The business actions that you're taking. Are you dialing every day? Are you doing this way? All in the effort of like helping you get better. Yeah, it's helping you close business. More deals, right? Present more professionally, and it's like that is gonna.
And we spoke about that too. Is just like I think we get this perception because it's like, oh, well, they want you to do that so that they can make money. I'm like, well, yeah, but we don't. The company doesn't make money unless you make money.
Yeah.
Like if we figured, no lie, if we figured out how to make money without agents, why would we continue to want more agents?
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't math, and it's crazy that people just like it's. Honestly, it's frustrating because I'm like, do you realize that just doesn't add up, right? Like if we knew how to do it without them, why would we continue to just want to provide for those people? Why would we continue to make it easier, make it better for them if it didn't matter?
Well, it's and there is a way to do it, right? So you have these brokerages that are like, yeah, come on, cool, you're warm-blooded. Sign on the dotted line.
Right.
By the way, there's a monthly fee.
Yeah.
Whether you sell or not, you're gonna get this monthly fee. And so it's like, cool, we're covering our cost basis. We're making money off of you, but you might be sitting there making nothing.
Yeah.
You might have closed one deal this year, 2 deals this year, right?
Yeah.
I love that you guys aren't about that. It's like, hey, like we don't have these monthly fees. We don't have these things. It's like literally like our success financially is based on your success financially. So like it behooves us
to make sure you're successful.
Yeah, to help you hit your goals and like destroy your goals because cool, we're gonna get wealthy together.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think that's the thing we talk about is just send the elevator back down. We're up at the penthouse, or send it back down for the people who also want to come up too.
Yeah,
and I think that's a big thing. As we wrap up. So we're going on almost 3 weeks here in kind of like the shadow phase. When you head back, are you like oh man, like what am I gonna do now? Or are you like, dude, I am like so excited to get back and start ripping and get moving?
The latter, like to the T.
Yeah.
Literally, I was just sitting here with DJ yesterday, and we were chatting about that. He's like, what do you need? I'm like, dude, I'm ready to rock. Like you just like. Pull the pin and I'm like I'm out the gates and I'm off and running. I've actually already been having conversations with people that I know, like
awesome
good friends of mine that I've worked with for years and years, and like look, like we worked together in the past, like this is a massive opportunity, like I want you to come with me, not because I'm trying to sell you like a bill of goods, like but like legit, I wouldn't have taken this position and this opportunity if I didn't see real value in it, and then 2, I wouldn't be talking to you if I didn't believe in it, that like I think you can get wealthy and I think you can do better than I've ever seen you do before, with the systems, the technology, which I'm a huge tech nerd as we talked about. So like, it's like, but the leads, like all of the coaching, it's like anything I could think of that you might need. It's like, they've already thought of it and like gone 12 levels deep into it, not just be like, cool, yeah, we have scripts, or cool, yeah, we have the support, but it's like, no, here's all of the levels down that you have access to, even DJ himself. So like I'm beyond stoked to like talk to people, share what they have here, have them kind of experience that and make money together, man.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I think that's the name of the game, right? It's the reason why we do this is to build financial freedom, to build a life for yourself, your family, etc. So, dude, we are like beyond excited to have you. The last 3 weeks has been sick. We're gonna do a lot more together. I'm sure we're going to be out in Orlando, right? We're going to be out there pioneering kind of like marketing push out there. And, we're going to do billboards. We're going to do all the stuff you see around here because, we just know. I mean, we've been approached, agents that want to come over, and we're just like, we just don't have we just don't have any kind of operations up there. So that's why we're like so excited to have you on board, and somebody who understands the amount of work and the amount of potential that there is there. Everybody else is kind of just like, I don't know, half in, half out. They don't really buy into the fact that like you literally can change people's lives, and there are people's lives out there who they're raising their hand saying, "Hey, I want to be on board."
Yeah,
but it's really hard. So, dude,
I'm stoked.
We're excited to have you. So as we sign off, I always just shout out this podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a great way for you to listen to books because you're obviously out on showings and you can't read. It's really irresponsible to read and drive unless you have a Tesla. Let's get those stock shares up. So Audible is a great way to listen to books instead of reading them. But you can find our referral link in the bio below. Look out for Chris. Follow us, like, share, subscribe, and look out for this guy because we're excited to see how big this guy's team get.
Let's do it.
All right, later.
Peace.